Hey folks, it's me Chris, and I wanted to take a few seconds of your time to talk about this awesome new opportunity that we've been presented with for all of our lovely listeners. We can now offer you all a 1-month free trial from audible.com, allowing you full access to a vast library of audiobooks to choose from. As I mentioned earlier, the trial is completely free, and all you have to do is visit audibletrial.com/GHS and follow the instructions to sign up for a free membership today. We hope you guys enjoy Audible just as much as we do, and thanks for your time. But all right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and jump into nerd news. After all that, we got some cool nerd news for you guys, some gaming stuff, and some really cool movie news. Adnan, do you mind if I take this first piece?
Go ahead.
Sweet. All right, guys. So this is really cool. Most of you probably, or for those who don't own an Xbox, maybe you haven't noticed this quite yet. But so earlier this week, Microsoft announced that actually on the eve of the new Xbox One experience coming out, they confirmed that this new Xbox One experience will not support Kinect gestures while on the Xbox One's main menu. So in other words, when you could still do Kinect voice commands and things like that, but you can't raise your hand anymore and like swipe the screen or do anything like that. That's been completely dropped from this new update that's actually out right now. So while speaking to Windows Central, Microsoft's Mike Ybarra spoke on why the new update will be removing the Kinect gestures from the main menu. And this is what he went on to say. He said, on gestures, when we looked at the new Xbox One experience, we wanted to prioritize features that customers were asking for, plus areas of improvement from the existing Xbox One UI. With gestures, the reality was the usage was very, very low. So for now, we've cut that from the new Xbox One experience. So when we launch on the 12th, random note, that's now, back to the quote, that won't be in the product. So, but he was quick to add, Ybarra was quick to add, however, that if people want Kinect gestures back, so if demand is high, they could bring that back in a future update. I have to say, as someone that's owned an Xbox One, I'm glad to see the gestures gone. I was actually telling Adnan before the podcast, I'm so happy it's gone because you have no idea how many times like I've been talking to like my wife or talking to someone or whatever, and like I'll raise my hand and then it'll like activate like Netflix, and I'm like, God damn it, no, I didn't mean to do that. You have
to do it. If it would only be perfect if it was Ocelot's voice. For the Kinect toss, like activated.
Activated. No, the voice thing I think is great. It's the hand gestures that bothers me. Like that's what annoys me. The voice is still there, and I think it's awesome. I haven't used it. It hasn't accidentally gone off yet. I don't know if they've improved that, but no, voice is still there. Kinect is still being used for that. It's the hand thing that's gone, and I'm glad the hands are gone because fuck that. I do like the voice thing though. I think that's something, and I think not in this article, but I remember in another. Something else I read, I don't know if it was the same guy, but someone was talking about how, voice is still very important because they're like, we need, that's something people use. I think they looked at their stats or whatever, and voice usage is high. It's the fucking hand thing that no one wants to do. Because why bother? If you could just say, Xbox, open Netflix, just do that instead of like swiping your hand. And it's not like Minority Report, you're not Tom Cruise, damn it. Like we don't have to do that. It's cool, but it's cool for like 5 seconds, and then you're like, oh god, this is exhausting. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm personally glad it's gone, to be honest.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. By the way, I've been kind of like messing around with the new update is very much tailor made to the controller now, like more so than ever. It's so made for like the Xbox One controller than anything else.
I think Microsoft are really putting a lot of emphasis on this update, especially at E3, that this is going to be the big Xbox One experience update. It's going to be huge. Everyone's going to really like it. I've always praised Microsoft for being really supportive of the Xbox dashboard and like feedback, and kind of, as I said as well, if you want Kinect gestures back, we can put them back in.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think there's going to be an outcry, but yeah, there is this kind of great thing that since with like, even though Sony's had this kind of great mantle of like, it's been for the players and it's got exclusive and everything else, Microsoft is really underappreciated, especially for how much like effort these engineers have put into it. Because they even did you see the video where they explain how backwards compatibility works?
Yeah,
And
that
how
was
they built
hilarious.
and how they built the engineers built that virtual portal
Yeah.
that acts as like a 360 kind of like thing. It's like, it kind of blows your mind as well when you think about it, because like, shit, this is what they had to do to make it work, and now you can insert DVD discs into the actual Xbox One, which has a Blu-ray player, and it still works for that reason. It reads the game off that, and then you can play it. So there is a lot deserved to them, Microsoft, especially for how much like work they've put into the Xbox One update. I think like I do need to test it out myself. I'm going to get my Xbox One hopefully this week, later on this week, so I can try out, see what it's going, and then give a better impression of it. But overall, I'm really happy with them as well, especially with the momentum. Sony needs to fucking clear up their game and build a better dashboard, because that's like, their dashboard's a joke.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that we were talking about that too off cast, that Microsoft has always been very like whenever they do an update, you get an update. Like, it's nice. It's a big media update, and it changes things. Like, it's like a completely. I mean, when they use the word experience, they're using it correctly in this way. Like, it really is a new experience. It's really great.
Yeah. Well, sorry, but even with that, even their minor updates aren't even like necessarily bad than the fact that we've not done that much to tweak it. But the thing is that little update they put in every month or so is based on your feedback. It's not like when Sony does it, when Sony's doing it off this, and then sometimes they do it off your feedback. Every one of the monthly updates is done off your feedback, because they keep asking what you want to see, and it shows again the parallels between Xbox 360 and PS3 with Xbox One and PS4, where Microsoft is again engaging its consumers and evolving the dashboard. Look how far the 360 dashboard evolved from the blades to where it was before the end of that cycle. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They had so much stuff on it. They're putting emphasis in. I think Cortana will be a big one, especially if they get that integrated into Xbox One, which I can see them hope. Well, I hope they do as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, yeah, I agree with that, dude. I mean, finishing what I was gonna say, pretty much like what you were saying, just that like PS4, not as much. Like Microsoft gives you 110%. Sony, I mean, they give you what you need, and that's about it. And it's like, you guys could maybe go a little bit more above and beyond. That it's always appreciated by people, like the users and stuff. Even if it's something, and sometimes it's nice to be surprised by something you didn't think you'd like, and you're like, holy shit, I love this.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely.
But all right, dude. I guess go ahead and close us from gaming news.
I will do. So, big news that came on today, as of Friday. So, Fallout 4's launch was a huge success. Bethesda announced today that the game shipped 12 million copies worldwide for launch day alone, quote, representing sales in excess of 750 million, end quote. In addition, the game is generating, quote, record sales, end quote, at brick and mortar stores across Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and PC. Bethesda did not say how many of those 12 million copies shipped to retailers were actually sold through to consumers. The 750 million number likely represents total possible revenue if indeed all 12 million were actually sold. Bethesda said, and I quote, major retailers have informed Bethesda of the tremendous consumer interest in Fallout 4, with some noting it was the most pre-ordered game of this year, which adds into the fact that the Pip-Boy edition was one of the fastest-selling collector's edition in history.
God,
and I'll continue the quote. Yeah, and I'll continue the quote. Following the release, Bethesda was advised that the launch day sales at most of the leading retail chains were largest of any game released this year. Bethesda is now shipping more Fallout 4 units to retailers to meet the ongoing market demand.
God damn. Well, this is selling well.
And by comparison, Bethesda Studios games, 2011's Elder Scrolls V Skyrim shipped 7 million copies in 48 hours and sold 3.5 million to consumers during that period. As of January 2014, the game sold 20 million copies worldwide. And on Steam as well, Fallout 4 was the top played game at launch, at one time reaching 470,000 players. This had blasted the record held by Grand Theft Auto 5. In addition, Bethesda claims the Fallout Pip-Boy app was the #1 game on the iTunes App Store as well.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so
again,
like what we were talking,
these figures are
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, these figures are skewed. The same with when we talked about Halo 5 a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Shipped is the key word here, I think. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
yeah.
or possible, total
Once it
possible
says
revenue.
sold and gone and someone's owning it, then you have to kind of like raise eyebrows.
Yeah. Um. So that's cool though. I mean, that's we all Fallout was one of those things that took. I don't know anything about Fallout, dude. I've never played any. I think I played 5 minutes of the New Vegas that wasn't even made by Bethesda. So I really know nothing about the series. I can't. I can't say, oh, of course it's going to sell this much. I know there's a lot of hype online for this game. I mean, when it was announced at E3, people were fucking, buckets of loads being dropped. I mean, they were just like super like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I can't believe it. Like they were really excited for it. So, but this is remarkable. I mean, this sounds like a lot of really positive vibes. I mean, obviously we're not seeing a final number or anything, but these are really great numbers for it. I could see how the Pip-Boy thing would be so well, because that thing was just fucking cool looking. Even if you're not a
Yeah.
Fallout fan, like I'm not a Fallout fan, and I thought, man, that's pretty badass.
Like
So
it was like the MGS5 collector's edition.
yeah,
Where you,
getting the
there's,
arm,
there's
yeah,
just yeah, it's just like kind of a cool thing where you're like, yeah, I want that in my room, like
your wish
on
list,
my
like
desk or something.
give me
Yeah,
that, yeah. No, it's really cool, and no, that's great. I mean, I'm hoping I chose we talked about earlier. I played Rise of the Tomb Raider, so I chose that over Fallout 4, and that's only because I had more of an interest with Tomb Raider because obviously I'm a huge fan of that type of game series, and I had played the original a few years back, the reboot. That's kind of weird to say, the original reboot, but you know what I mean. But this game, eventually, I want to pick it up. Eventually, I really do. Like, it's on my wish list. It's on Amazon, so maybe during the holidays, I'll get some. Someone will buy it for me, or I'll get money and I'll buy it. I don't know. But for now, like, I'm cool with just waiting a while. But I'm glad people are liking it. I mean, I've heard people are really digging the game, and I heard, dude, I felt so bad. Someone on my Twitter feed was like, I just can't get into it. I bought the game and I want to be a part of your world, internet. I just can't do it. I felt bad for him. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, you bought the game, trying to get into it, you can't do it. Like, that sucks. That's happened to me definitely in the past. I think it was like with
yeah.
Halo Reach, I think. I just couldn't get
It
into it.
happened. It happened with me with Fallout 3. I didn't
Really?
buy it on launch. I remember playing it though, and I was like, "There's so much hype behind this game. I need to play it. Like, I really want to get into it." And when I did it, I was like, "I can't get into it." And I put my full kind of like thing into it. I was like, "I just can't get into it." I was like, "This is not my kind of game." Even though I
Right.
do like obviously like other things like that, but those kind of games, like the kind of one I was looking at, it looked fucking terrible. I'm not saying like visuals are the be all end all of any game, but it just didn't look pretty. When I like look at the Phantom Pain, that fucking world looks realistic and unbelievable. Um, you kind of have to be like, shit, like that's unreal to look at.
Yeah.
But then obviously the Fallout one's a little bit kind of like, like that game's never going to launch fully on like launch and not have bugs. But I kind of like, I'm not really keen on playing where there's a game breaking bug or something else in it. Not necessarily saying the game does have it, but if it did have it,
Right.
um,
Well, they have a history of that too, Bethesda, so.
yeah, definitely. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But I think like it's got great sales numbers. I think this kind of like obviously did do some damage on Call of Duty because I think Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the seventh fastest selling game in the series, even though the
Right.
game did ship on a Friday and not a Tuesday compared to its normal retail release, which
Oh,
obviously does make
so it was the Friday before the release of Fallout.
yeah. So it
Oh,
didn't ship on
okay.
a Tuesday. So the
Right.
statistics are a little bit weird. It might not obviously be completely off, but I do think there is some kind of thing that it did dent in sales from Call of Duty. I never ever saw this game surpassing sales on what. Sorry, I never saw this game out taking out Call of Duty or the other big hitters. It was obviously going to do numbers on Tomb Raider, but I didn't think it'd be that successful. But again, these obviously the key word is ship, so it's not saying necessarily that this is the number. But yeah.
Yeah. So, man, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm reading some of the comments here, and some people are saying, man, this could be like as successful as Grand Theft Auto 5 was in 2013. And it's possible. I mean, it's similar numbers. I mean, I think
Yeah.
GTA 5 came out earlier though. They came out in October, so I mean, but it's possible. We'll have to see what happens. But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
good for you, Fallout guys. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Uh, I'm still raiding tombs, but um, but all right, cool. So we'll go ahead and jump into our other side of the coin of our news, movie stuff. So we have some really cool stuff here on Star Wars and some other news too from other movies. Dude, do you want me to take the first piece and you take the second one?
Yep, go for it.
All right, sweet. All right, so actually, all this week, Entertainment Weekly has been giving so much news on Star Wars, and I think it was actually yesterday, right? Or was it earlier today? No, it was yesterday, yeah. They had a portion of their interview that they had with J.J. Abrams kind of talking about Luke Skywalker and, where the fuck is he, right? Like in The Force Awakens. Like he's missing from everything. And JJ went on to talk about how Luke is kind of, it says here, Luke's path in the context of the film was a big draw for JJ Abrams to direct, namely how everyone else in the movie sees Luke. So this is a quote from JJ. He says, "It was the thing that struck me the hardest, which was the idea that doing a story that took place nearly 40 years after Jedi meant that there would be a generation for whom Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia would be as good as myth. They'd be as old and as mythic as the tale of King Arthur. They would be characters who they may have heard of, but maybe not. They'd be characters who they might believe existed or just sounded like a fairy tale." And then he went on to talk about comparing like everyone else. Like he's saying that like Rey, for example, who's a scavenger and lives alone on a desert, a desolate planet. Like, how would she feel of that person? And she's like, she may not even think the Jedi were real or the Force exists or anything like that. Like, how, what does she know? She's like, trying to make her way to survive. And this I thought was very interesting. He did say that John Boyega's character Finn knows very well who Luke Skywalker is, thanks to his stormtrooper training. And that apparently, it says here for Finn, and this is from John Boyega, he quoted this. He said, "For Finn, he's been raised from the ashes of the Empire. He's been taught about Luke Skywalker. He knows about his history. For him, it's like joining the army and then learning about one of the great enemies of your country. It has that effect on him. But in terms of the Force and the magical stuff that happens, that is the point where Finn kind of questions what is what? What is the Force? What part of Luke Skywalker... what part does Luke Skywalker play in all this?" So very interesting that Luke is known amongst the First Order as like a monster. You know what I mean? Almost like the boss in Metal Gear, right? Like, that person.
I was gonna say that was the exact comparison I was going to draw with Metal Gear. Because I think like this is where these kind of things with when Abrams and anyone related to Star Wars really lays these kind of themes is where it becomes much more interesting, because it is that sense of almost realism, because myths are changed and expanded, and it's like you said with John Boyega, because he's being indoctrinated to believe that Luke Skywalker is the enemy,
right?
And obviously Rey doesn't know anything of it. It's when we judge past and we learn about past, and it's revised, it's retold, it's the same that scene where Harrison Ford is in the trailer. It's like, the Jedi, the Sith, everything is all true, but again you have to question what is true.
Yeah.
What is it? It's only Ford's perspective of what it is. It's not necessarily everyone's. And this is the kind of great thing, because this is where it goes leaps and bounds of the Star Wars universe, where it expands unbelievably, because those 3 films, the beginning ones, and even with the prequels and the actual the originals, they don't really expand that many years, and they don't feel like it either necessarily. Mm-hmm. I would say, like, Phantom Menace to A New Hope is a big leap, but it doesn't do what this film's trying to insinuate. The fact that, it feels like 30 years has passed. There's a Star Destroyer lying in the ground.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren is not a Sith. He is a member of the First Order. Like, he's got his own kind of, like, crew, the remnants of the Rebellion, or maybe even the Empire. These kind of, like, ideas are thrown around. People tell stories. This is what Luke Skywalker did. Was he a hero? Was he a villain? Was he God? Kind of like those questions of, like, what is he a savior? Because that's the great thing about, with Empire, with Return of the Jedi. It's like kind of like montage scene that they do at the end, where it's like where all these planets are like, yeah, the Empire's destroyed, but it's like, does everybody want the Empire destroyed?
Yeah.
It's like when I was when I did my history with with Cuba, like, you know, when Fidel Castro rose to power, like people were like, oh yeah, it's the revolution, the socialism's here, like the poor are free and everything else. But there were other people who ran from Cuba to America because they ran for their lives because they feared what was going to happen.
Right.
So there's always that, you know, there's two sides to a coin. Like, there's always that story, and that's what this is going to be such a great film for, because I think Abrams can really tell that story. Like, and it's like they're just saying that. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, just like, dude, you bring excellent points. Like, the First Order alone, like, how the fuck did that start? When did the Empire end? Because, like, now with you know, this new canon that they're releasing with novels and you know, video games, I mean, Battlefront alone shows that the Battle of Jakku, which is like a few years after Jedi, the Empire's still around, because that's where we get to see how the ship crashes into the ground that Rey is exploring in you know, the trailers we've seen. So, like, how does the First Order start? And that's a great point. Like, how many people want the Empire to be around? So I can't wait for that, dude. That's going to be interesting.
It's the same thing with Kylo Ren worshipping Vader and not the Palpatine, when we talked about it last week. Is the fact that he is worshipping the person that, it's like, when you assume you'd want to rebuild the dream of Palpatine, or is it because he wants to fulfill Vader's dream? It's that great idea of, like, mythos and, you know, legends and myths and everything, how it one generation tells it to the other, and one generation might not understand it.
Right.
You question everything. It's that great thing where it's actually going to feel like a Star Wars film that has aged 30 years. I think it's going to be a big moment for people to watch, because it'll be like, you know what, this is really hitting, you know, everything that we want to see in a film.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this talk is getting me hyped. Like, I am in, like, 100% hype mode, dude. Like, I'm actually, Rebecca has never, she's seen the original movies, but it's been a very long time since she's seen them, so I've been showing her each week a new film. So we saw the prequels over the course of 3 weeks, and now I'm showing her, you know, 4, 5, and 6. And it's really amazing hearing, you know, her responses from it, and, like, you know, now hearing, you know, your response. I love surrounding myself with people who, like, are interested in this movie and seeing it. And those are ideas I wouldn't have thought of, dude. So excellent points. I can't wait for Force Awakens. And, you know, we may not get... What I love about it is, if we don't get explanations of, like, how the fuck the First Order was started, there's going to be a novel. You know, there's going to be a book about the guy that, you know, probably Andy Serkis's character, Supreme Leader Snoke or whatever. We're going to find out how the fuck he started all this, and that's going to be so fucking cool to see. So, God damn it, I can't wait for that. Like, oh god, I want it now. Like that Muse song. I want it now. Well, I can't sing it. Sorry. We don't want to be flagged. You guys know what I'm talking about. But all right, cool, dude. If you don't mind, Adnan, close us off from our nerd news, dude, for our last piece.
Yeah, I will do now. Right. So again, Star Wars, but we'll keep this we'll keep this short and snappy. So, Harrison Ford and Han Solo in The Force Awakens and Return of Indiana Jones. So, following from the reveal this morning. Following from E's cover reveal this morning. EW. Oh, sorry, Entertainment Weekly. I thought it was E. Sorry. EW. Following on from EW's reveal this morning of their cover, which is a couple of days ago. EW has debuted a new interview with Star Wars: The Force Awakens star Harrison Ford, featuring the actor discussing everyone's favourite scruffy-looking nerve herder, Han Solo. So, and I quote from Ford: "There's not an abandoning of the character. He does not aspire to the position of Obi-Ben Kenobi, nor do I aspire to be some new age Alec Guinness. His development is consistent with the character, and there are emotional elements which have occasioned his growth." So, an end quote. So, Ford goes on to reveal Han Solo we see in Force Awakens may not be all that different from what we saw 30 years ago. Oh, sorry, we saw what we knew from 30 years ago. This is a terribly written article, but I'll continue anyway. So, Ford again said, and I quote, we spend a lot more time in the movie on his failure to master basic skills like accounting and accounting for his own behavior. There's a lot of the rogue still left in Solo. Some things don't change," end quote. The subject came up as well of a Han Solo spin-off movie currently being scripted by Lawrence and John Caston to be directed by Chris Miller and Phil Lord for a May 25th, 2018 release. When asked if Lucasfilm had approached him about the film, Ford maintained what we already know about the project. I think, and he said, and I quote, "I think they're probably talking to the young Han Solo," end quote. And again, switching gears to another iconic role, which is Indiana Jones. Ford was asked like if he'd return for the role of Henry Jones Jr., which he seemed enthusiastic about doing, and he said, and I quote, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do another Indiana Jones, a character that has a history and a potential, kind of like rollicking good movie ride for the audience. Steven Spielberg as director, what's not to like?" And that's the interview.
That's I think the big news to take out of this is he's Harrison has always seemed very lukewarm about Han, and I actually read the full like interview. This is like more highlights, but you get, even in the past you've gotten impressions that Harrison kind of like is done with Han Solo, but I think what to take out of this is he's still very much down with Indiana Jones, and I find that hilarious. That I think it's amazing. He's really down. I don't know why he would be. Like, what the difference of it is. I guess Indiana is more grounded, and there's more to him, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he's more of a Nathan Drake character, so I guess he's more lovable. I
think more in the fact, if we're going to go Uncharted example, is that Harrison Ford's character in Indiana Jones can become the Sully character.
Yeah,
well, he's done the shit. He's done the thing. I think more like with Han Solo, he's a beaten warhorse.
Yeah,
a beaten smuggler as well. Like he's done everything. He's tried everything. It's just like it's time for the new generation. Like it's going to be that kind of like switching the mantle thing. They're going to really play on that. I think in The Force Awakens, like it's time to pass on the torch. Teach not necessarily teach them what we learned, and let them kind of like build their own future, etc., etc. Because that's the thing. The entire point with Return of the Jedi, it never builds a new future for a new generation. It's still these people building that future,
right?
Or so attempting to build that future. I think with Indiana Jones is more a character who passes on lessons. He is an archaeologist. He's a historian. He passes on these things that he's found and collected. He wants other people to learn and appreciate, and obviously everything else. I think he can obviously retreat to the role of what Junior. What Sean Connery did in that film. I think he'd do it really well as well. I think it'd be very hard to swallow, but I think he'd do a very good job as a supporting character.
Oh yeah,
in the Indiana Jones movie, like where he is like because he could take on the traits of what Sean Connery had, but also spin them as well. And I think he'd easily do that great role because you can have so many references towards it, and then this and that.
No, I agree with that, dude. He could totally fucking he could do it. He could be the Junior, like come here, Junior, like but yeah, dude, I think I'd be down for that. Indiana Jones, I would. I mean, I know everyone was kind of like bummed out with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I'd be down to see if he's got it still, like to see like another one. I don't know if I'd want Shia LaBeouf in it. I mean, Shia LaBeouf has kind of gone on his own crusade. I don't even know if he'd want to be in play Mutt Williams again.
Shia LaBeouf is Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he's at this point. He's kind of like what is he? He's watching his own movies. He's doing a live stream. He's watching his own movies right now, or something. I mean, to each his own.
I've never seen someone go off the beaten track so much. Like unbelievable.
Well, the only time I saw this a long time ago, Adnan, when Britney Spears in 2007. I feel like Obi-Wan, like I haven't seen blast marks like this for a while. But yeah, no. So I'd be so down to see him come back. That sounds like a lot of fun.